Nation, good morning. It's Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report, with quite frankly some news that I can't even believe that I'm talking about. And I know it's early, but it's going to fire up every single person that tunes into today's show. Hunter Renfrow is visiting with the Las Vegas Raiders literally today, visiting the Raiders today, and he wants to play this upcoming season. I promise you this right now. If the Raiders end up going out and signing Hunter Renfrow, I'm going to go live and we're going to blow the roof off this flipping joint. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure those notifications are turned on. But what's really intriguing about this is last season, Renfrow did not play. And there was a lot of speculation around that he ended up retiring because I forget what exactly he's doing now. He's working on like the side. And I remember seeing a whole bunch of pictures around him doing like outdoor work. So everyone's like, oh, Hunter Renfrow ended up retiring. I mean, he's a millionaire who just wants to be able to also work and do some other things. Like Renfro's always had it up here. He's been a very smart guy his entire career. But at 29 years old, the Hunter Renfrow discussions are going to be, I think, a little bit controversial depending on what the money is that you bring him in for. And I know the Renfrow that a lot of y'all fell in love with, and, myself included, like, Renfrow was one of those players that every single Raiders fan was like, dude, this guy's super fun to watch, because it was kind of like, if Renfrow can go out there and do it, shit, why can't I? I get that he is an unbelievable athlete. He's a better athlete than anybody here watching this video, and he was a route technician, which was one of the biggest reasons why he was so successful early on, even at Clemson and over here for the Raiders for his first few seasons. I mean, in 2019 as a rookie, 49 catches, 605 yards, 4 touchdowns. But what I loved about Renfrow, and we used to always call him Third and Renfrow, was his ability to be able to pick up first downs. 30 first downs as a rookie. In 2020, started in 4 games, 77 targets, 56 grabs, 656 yards, 2 touchdowns, 32 first downs. The year that ended up getting him paid, which was his 3rd year, and reminder, it was a 2-year, $32 million deal, and that $32 million was fully guaranteed. And Renfrow in 2021 had 128 targets, 103 catches, 1,038 yards, 9 touchdowns, 51 first downs. In that year, for all y'all that remember, that was the Henry Ruggs year, that was the John Gruden year, and the Raiders needed to be able to find some people that they could rely on and that could catch the football. That's what Renfrow was. So after getting paid that 2-year, $32 million deal, we were all anticipating that he was going to be a receiver that we were going to be able to rely on for the long haul. The Raiders go out, they hire Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, and I can't imagine that I'm the only one that thinks this, but when the Raiders went out and they hired McDaniels, we were all like, dude, Renfrow's about to be the next Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola. Insert white, really good route running receivers name in. That's what we thought Renfrow was going to be. And Renfrow was not really a good fit with McDaniels. McDaniels' offense is just so strict at times. And what was great about Renfrow is, he can run an entire route tree. And he would put people on skates all the time. But he also had a little bit of like that backyard football mentality where he would kind of just roam around, be able to do his own routes. And him and Derek Carr were on like their own, wavelength, that it worked out all the time. The reason why Renfrow had such a significant fall off was the injuries, and he sustained multiple concussions. I can remember he had one really bad concussion in the Arizona Cardinals game back in 2022. That was a game that the Raiders were up 20-0 and ended up blowing that lead and ended up losing that game. That was the year where the Raiders blew. It was like 5 leads of 10-plus points. But then he also sustained another concussion that year. And then in 2023, where he started only 3 games. So think about that. After the year, he got a 2-year, $32 million deal. He started in only 4 games for the rest of that Raiders career in 2022 and in 2023. And he missed 7 games in the year of 2022 because of some of those concussions and some of those other minor injuries that started to pop up. In 2023, though, he had 37 targets, 25 catches, 255 yards, no touchdowns. And I can remember that year very clearly. Obviously, it was the Jimmy Garoppolo year. There was a lot of other, Aiden O'Connell, the Antonio Pierce year. There was some good in there. Like, let's not get it twisted. But Renfrow, clearly you saw a decline in his health. And because you saw a decline in his health, you saw a decline in his overall ability to play. You saw a decline in his confidence, which I do think is really what impacted his ability to go out there and play at a high level. Now, I saw this news this morning, and I know for a fact that a bunch of people around the nation are going to be super flippin' fired up about it. If you want Hunter Renfrow back in the silver and black, I want you to spam 13 down below, because when you see certain names that pop up, and every time that it happens, I know how Raider fans are going to react. Let me be very clear on this statement. I am a Raiders fan. I will never put a player above the shield. And if Renfrow is 100% healthy and he's ready to go, I am more than okay with the idea of going out and getting somebody that I know for a fact would actually be a really good fit with somebody like Geno Smith. And the name that I'm going to throw out there is Jackson Smith-Njigba. I'm not comparing Renfrow to JSN. What I'm comparing, though, is the style of play that they have, where JSN, when you go back and watch Geno Smith tape, the amount of times that he would look for JSN on third down because he knew he needed to be able to find somebody he could rely on, somebody that he knew that he had chemistry with, somebody that he knew that could run basically a complete route tree, and somebody that had solid hands and was reliable. That was the great Hunter Renfrow that I remember back in 2021. And if you're going to be able to get a shell of that, a healthy Renfrow, like that's a player that you could bring in and he could be your wide receiver 3, and you could be able to pair that with Trey Tucker, where Trey Tucker's the field stretcher, Hunter Renfrow's more of the possession receiver. You're still going to have to go out and add another receiver because at this point in Renfrow's career, you can't really look at him as being anything more than a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 type of thing. But it's going to come down to health. If he's healthy, it's going to be worth it. If he's not healthy and he's the Renfrow that you saw back in 2023 and back in 2022, the guy that would catch the football, and in the moment he would catch the football, he would almost like lower his head and he would look to get down. Like you could tell that he wasn't confident in himself, and you could tell that he wasn't confident in his overall health, which is scary because when you see a player have 3 just clear concussions that are bad that Renfrow had, you got to worry about his long-term health. And when you're somebody that's as solid of a dude as Renfrow, like literally my favorite Hunter Renfrow story is how many of y'all, if you remember this, type me down below. It's literally Renfrow bought an Uber for Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, and Mac Hollins. And it was like the cheapest Uber you could have ordered, and that was carrying around, like $400 million. But like that's the type of player, when you add him to the locker room, he's an instant locker room, boom, right? Like, he's going to be somebody that no doubt helps out this organization, getting a lot of the right things together. And we know the Raiders have been looking for a receiver, right? We've been talking about Keenan Allen, Tyler Lockett, Robert Woods. Hell, I was talking about D. Eskridge, Elijah Moore the other day. And when the Raiders went out and they signed Stephon Diggs, or when the Patriots signed Stephon Diggs, I did a show a few days ago about the idea of, well, this could make some dominoes fall. So from what it sounds like right now, and this is a report that came in from Ian Rappaport, that right now Hunter Renfrow is living in Carolina. He is visiting the Raiders today, and he plans on doing more visits throughout the entirety of, this offseason. But what's also really interesting is he visited with the Carolina Panthers on Wednesday. So if he wants to play, if he wants to get out there, if you can bring him in on a 1-year prove-it deal, kind of with some incentives tied into that, like, I don't think that you're going to have to pay him more than $3 million. Like, this is not the Hunter Renfrow that you're going to have to give 7, 8, 9, 10. When a receiver doesn't play for an entire year and there's been speculation that he retired, that's not going to be somebody that's going to come in and make a lot of money. I would almost imagine it's like a 1-year, $2 million deal with incentives up to $3 million. But this is news that I had to share with everyone. Hunter Renfrow is visiting the Raiders today, and if he ends up signing a deal, bring your drinking pants because it's Friday, tomorrow's the weekend, March Madness basketball, and if Hunter Renfrow is freaking back in silver and black, man, today's going to be one hell of a day. If you're looking for even more content around the silver and black, around the Raiders, make sure you click the subscribe button right here. I promise you, I got you covered. If you're looking for even more videos, some of the videos that my dog Chuck would recommend, you can click on this button right here. And if you're looking for even more videos around the Las Vegas Raiders, I promise you, I got you covered here. I am probably going to also end up dropping another video later on today. I'm going to be on Hunter Renfrow watch, and I think the entire nation is going to be on Hunter Renfrow watch.